Kindred, the streets of Seattle are crawling with danger, but before you go out hunting, you might want to know a thing or two about your vampire abilities. My name is Codiak, this is Legacy Gaming, here are the best clan abilities in Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. Now when it comes to your vampire abilities, it's important to understand that not everything is about instant offense. In fact, I would argue that abilities in Bloodlines 2 fall into two very distinct buckets, offensive or utility. Both can be incredibly powerful when used correctly, but if you want to truly master being a vampire elder, you'll want to get comfortable changing around your abilities to fit the increasingly dire situations you'll find yourself in. If there's one ability in Bloodlines 2 I recommend everyone check out, it's Earthshock. This Brujah skill can be learned from Silky at the Dutchman, and it's easily the most costly ability that clan can teach you. To unlock this, you'll need to spend 300 melancholic and 650 caloric blood, and have 12 ability points to spend. If you're looking for tips and tricks on how to easily get resonant blood, be sure to check out our Wish I Knew Sooner tips and tricks video, already released on the channel. When you use Earthshock, you slam the ground with explosive force, knocking nearby enemies into the air and dealing significant damage to any foes nearby. This is an incredibly potent ability simply because it synergizes so well with the game's melee-focused combat. As you progress through the main story, you'll increasingly find yourself in situations where you're fighting multiple challenging enemies, all of which are rushing you and trying to kill you. Earthshock makes short work of those enemies, displacing them, and does it with incredible flair. Easily one of my favorite abilities in Bloodlines 2, Blood Salvo is one of the game's only true ranged offensive skills. You can learn this from Mrs. Thorne at the Wake the Dead Cafe, and while I chose to be part of Clan Tremere, I would imagine you'll need at least 650 of one type of blood and 300 of another to unlock this ability. When used, you'll summon 4 lethal blood daggers that will hover suspended around your character. Using telekinesis, you can hurl the daggers at distant enemies, instantly killing all basic level enemies and seriously damaging any elite enemies. Because you have 4 charges, you have a lot of flexibility with how you want to use this, either picking off weaker enemies, thinning the herd, or throwing all the daggers into an elite target, taking a more dangerous threat off the board. The best thing is that the daggers can also be used as part of your stealth gameplay, making this one of the most versatile offensive abilities in the game. A Bloodlines 2 ability I think a lot of people are going to sleep on is Terminal Decree. This is a clan Ventrue technique that can be learned from Fletcher at Maycom Bar for the low cost of just 50 melancholic blood, 100 caloric blood, and 5 ability points. Once unlocked, you now have at your disposal the ability to instantly kill any non-vampire enemy with the flick of your wrist, and that is incredibly powerful throughout the entire game. Not only that, but once you start facing other vampires, the ability to stagger and disarm them makes them less dangerous, and gives you a new weapon to hurl at them with telekinesis. We don't need to overthink this one. Some abilities are just incredible out of the box, and that includes Terminal Decree. The most unique offensive ability in Bloodlines 2 has to be Blood Curse. This is a Tremere ability you can learn from Mrs. Thorne at the Wake the Dead Cafe, and because I picked this clan, I didn't have to pay to unlock it, but it'll cost 100 of one type of blood and 50 of another. Incredibly cheap. Once you spend your ability points to fully unlock the spell, you'll be able to make instant use of it. When cast, you begin channeling a curse on your intended target. This only takes a moment for lesser enemies, but will take significantly longer on more elite enemies. Once cast, all you need to do is interact with that enemy in some way. You can hit them with a melee attack, throw something at them with telekinesis, or even use another ability. Whatever you choose to do, as soon as you hit that enemy, they will immediately swell up and after a short delay, explode in a large AoE, instantly dying and dealing tons of damage to nearby enemies. I found this to be an effective ability both during combat and in stealth situations. It just depends on how comfortable you are using it when enemies are aggroed onto you. Either way, the results are explosive, and if you get good at attracting enemies to your cursed target, you can clean up groups with little to no effort. When it comes to abilities that lean more into providing you utility, there are a good number of options, but some clear best choices if you want to take full advantage of them throughout the majority of the game. Bloodlines 2 was clearly channeling their inner Dishonored with Blink, a simple relocation spell that you can unlock from Patience, your clan contact for the Toreadors. For 100 melancholic and 250 caloric blood plus a handful of ability points, You can now instantly teleport out of sight or reach nearby enemies with a blink. This is, without a doubt, one of the best utility skills in the game, largely because it allows you to instantly get out of danger, teleporting to a spot that enemies simply can't reach. You have almost unlimited freedom, both horizontally and vertically, and that makes a huge difference. Of course, most enemies, once you reach the mid-game, have guns, so it's not a perfect solution, but it's surely better than having to run, jump, and clamber as enemies are wailing on you with bullets and baseball bats. Blink is also incredibly potent as a stealth aid, allowing you to quickly move around areas of the world without having to worry about detection. Obviously, you can't just chain blinks together, but you can use it to give yourself a strategic advantage. While not an outright offensive ability, I think Possession is one of the most underrated utility skills in Bloodlines 2. This Ventrue ability can be unlocked from Fletcher at Maycom Bar for 100 Melancholic and 250 Caloric Blood. Once you spend the skill points to unlock it completely, you'll now have the ability to possess an enemy, seeing through their eyes, but more importantly, forcing them to attack another enemy. This does two things. First, it causes mass confusion as enemies turn their attention to attack their would-be ally. It also does a ton of damage, especially if you possess an elite enemy that just so happens to be deadly themselves. Like I said, it's not an outright offensive ability, but it certainly tilts that direction when all is said and done. When you possess someone, you only have a limited amount of control over them, but once you attack a target, you lose that control and snap back into your body. There's also a second use for Possession, one just a bit more morbid. If the blood-curdling screams of your enemies don't send you into a tizzy, I recommend you check out Cauldron of Blood. This Tremere skill can be learned from Mrs. Thorn and will cost you 150 of one type of blood and 400 of another, as well as a handful of ability points. Once unlocked, you'll be able to instantly boil an enemy's blood from the inside, sending them into a panic as they let out a scream of agony. This will draw the attention of every enemy in the nearby area, and that's the perfect opportunity for some mass destruction. Whether you choose to use telekinesis or another ability, you now have all the enemies in one central location. Just be aware that if you miss that opening salvo, having all of your enemies descend on your position at the exact same time can be risky. That being said, I find that the risk is almost always worth the reward. I wanted to combine Beckon and Taunt, two abilities I think fit nicely together in Bloodlines 2, although they are unlocked separately. Beckon can be unlocked from Patience at the back of Aurora Pawn, while Taunt can be unlocked from Silky in the Dutchman. While these can be used during combat, they're not really designed for that application. The reason you want to get these is so that you can more easily farm for Resonant Blood while you're prowling the streets of Seattle. Having Beckon active allows you to instantly get someone with Sanguine Blood to follow you, making partially resonant Sanguine victims fully resonant for an easy 100 blood. Likewise, Taunt allows you to instantly provoke a Caloric Blood victim, making them fully resonant and aggro to you. It's a great way to quickly farm for blood, and while it's not that effective outside of that scenario, it will save you tons of time in the long run as you attempt to unlock every ability in the game. So there you have it, the best clan abilities you can unlock in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. If you appreciate the work that goes into making our content, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, and consider subscribing. We'll have more Bloodlines 2 in your feed, so keep it right here and never miss a thing. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.